India has a long history of devastating cyclones, especially in the Bay of Bengal, causing thousands of deaths and destruction of property. In 1999, the super cyclone caused extensive damage to the coastal districts of Orissa, leading to a national tragedy that prompted the realization that the outdated cyclone prediction technology needed to be upgraded. The Indian Meteorological Department sprang into action, and since then, there has been a significant change in our approach to responding to tropical cyclones. The country was hit by several severe cyclones since 1999 super cyclone devastation. However, unlike earlier, the nation found itself suitably prepared for the impending natural calamity. The human fatalities due to cyclones decreased to less than 100 in the recent decade.
इस साइक्लोन में मौसम विभाग ने टेक्नोलॉजी का बखूबी उपयोग किया और 6 तारीख से ही ये संकेत दे दिए गए थे जो अनुमान थे उतनी वेलोसिटी रही जो दिशा थी अनुमानित वही दिशा रही जो अनुमानित टाइम था वही टाइम रहा।
मेट्रोलॉजिकल डिपार्टमेंट ने बहुत accurate information दिया है।
The warning system has improved by leaps and bounds. There has been a paradigm shift. The kind of accuracy they have brought in the forecasting for forecast of cyclones especially, they really do it very accurately, and we get sufficient time in making announcements for the fishermen in the sea to come back.
IMD has done great work in giving us very accurate predictions and forecasts at least 5 days in advance.
If you take in the last 4 years, because of the IMD's prediction, the path which they have predicted, giving us the forewarning and the action taken by the Coast Guard, there has been nil loss of life at sea.
How did the nation manage to accomplish such a remarkable feat? Let's find out. Dr. Mrityunjay Mahapatra, DG IMD and then head of RSMC for tropical cyclones and the project director for the modernization program of Cyclone Warning Services, prepared the Vision 2020 document with the base year of 2010 and aimed to improve the forecast accuracy by 40% by 2020, along with this strategy to achieve it. The target fixed for 2020 has already been achieved in 2015 with pinpointed forecast accuracy of all the extremely severe cyclonic storms hitting the coast in recent decades. Dr. M. Mahapatra is popularly known as the Cyclone Man of India. He has monitored more than 90 cyclones so far over the North Indian Ocean. India Meteorological Department upgraded all components of early warning based on the latest technology under the modernization program of IMD taken up in 2007. Modernization of cyclone warning system included observations, modeling, forecasting, communications and dissemination.
At time we are getting satellite picture once in 3 hours, and at present we have got 2 satellites cascaded in such a way that we get image and products every 15 minutes from INSAT 3D and INSAT 3DR.
In rapid scan, every 4 minutes and 30 seconds, a new image we are getting it, which help us immensely for analysis purpose of cyclones.
Today, India has 37 Doppler weather radars in the country to provide observations every 10 minutes. 20 ocean buoys. About 206 voluntary observing ships recruited by IMD. More than 1,000 automated weather stations and 5,000 automated rain gauges. 35 high wind speed recorders. Additionally, new versions of global and regional deterministic and ensemble prediction models were introduced, as well as storm surge and coastal inundation models. A digitized forecasting platform replaced the conventional system for cyclone warning services.
We also have about 7 numerical models being run in Ministry of Earth Sciences. We have also come up with the data assimilation in the model, which was not the case at that time. Now we assimilate radar data, satellite data, all observational data, and for this purpose, the high performance computing system has been installed, which has the capacity of about 10 petaflop. With this, we can run the models with the data of morning 6:30 to find out the products and forecast up to 10 days by morning 9:30.
All this has yielded wonderful results. The lead period of Genesis forecast has increased from 1 day to 15 days. The accuracy of track forecast has improved by approximately 65%. The landfall forecast accuracy has improved by 75%. Intensity forecast accuracy has improved by 55%. Storm surge forecast accuracy has improved by 80%. The pinpointed forecast accuracy in terms of landfall point has been demonstrated for extremely severe cyclone storms like Phelan in 2013, Hudhud in 2014, Fani in 2019, Amphan in 2020, Tote Yas in 2021 and Mocha in 2023.
When the cyclone took place, that time our system of forecasting was not possibly that developed. For example, the forecast was that there will be landfall somewhere between Surat and Jakho, a range of about 1,000 kilometers. And it was not known till the last moment where exactly the landfall will take place. So you can imagine where to take the preventive measures by the district administration. So since then, of course, lot of changes have taken place. The warning system, the other processes, equipment of India Meteorological Department has improved. So we are able to forecast not only much earlier, the lead time has become longer in the sense that people can know in advance, but also the accuracy of landfall, wind speed, even storm surge has improved a great deal. Because of that, India has been able to make such rapid progress, and that has been widely acclaimed across the world.
Apart from technological interventions, there has been significant improvement in policy planning roadmap, standard operation system in cyclone warning.
When you talk about the cyclone, so earlier IMD was forecasting with some statistical model and various other parameters. But now we are able to work together with the Oceanographic Institute like Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services, as well as the Medium Range Weather Forecast. It is National Center for Medium Range Weather Forecast, NCM and WF, and together with them the Indian Meteorological Department and Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology. All 4 institutions are work together. One is for understanding, one for observing, 2 people are for observing, and other people putting the model, and finally take a collective decision by IMD. They are the front people, maybe the first element and last element is IMD. That means observation as well as dissemination is from IMD, but they get input from all the other 3 or 4 organizations so that they have able to give better forecast.
As per standard operation procedure, pre-cyclone exercise meetings are held before each cyclone season to ensure preparedness. Regular extended range outlooks are issued, indicating the potential for cyclogenesis. Daily tropical weather outlooks are issued, providing probabilistic cyclogenesis forecasts for the next 5 days. Special messages are sent when a low-pressure area forms, including pre-genesis track and intensity forecasts.
When depression forms, the frequency of bulletins increases, and 5 times a day we issue the warnings and advisories. and when it becomes a cyclone, the frequency further increases. 3 hourly bulletins are issued, and these warnings and advisories are issued in different stages like pre-cyclone watch, cyclone alert, cyclone warning. On the day of landfall, we issue special messages 12 hours prior to landfall. Hourly updates are issued, and when it crosses, and these hourly messages continue till the system maintains the intensity of cyclonic storm.
Cyclone Warning Center, Bhubaneswar, we have issued details district-wise and location-specific warning for wind, rainfall, storm surge, along with expected damage and impacts.
Recently, we have implemented web-based risk atlas as well as decision support system. So, through that we can get impact map over district as well as village level, and for that we can generate a multi-hazard scenario.
Once the warning is issued by IMD for any upcoming cyclone, the National Crisis Management Committee is on it. Director General of Meteorology is responsible for briefing the Prime Minister's office, the NCMC, Cabinet and Home Secretary and Chief Secretaries of the affected states. At the national level, liaisons are made with National Emergency Response Centre (MHA), National Disaster Management Authority and the National Disaster Response Force. State Chief Minister, State Chief Secretary and other stakeholders, press and electronic media are all taken on the same page. The IMD collaborates closely with multiple agencies in the ongoing battle between mankind and nature.
Even if there is remotest chance of loss of life or extensive damage to property, we convene the meeting. And what NCMC does is it ensures, a whole of government and comprehensive institutional response. Because in NCMC, we get all the stakeholders, all ministries and organizations which can help prevent loss of life and property or limit the damage. So the objective is to minimize, in fact, zero death. That has of late, that has been our, goal. And we have by and large managed to achieve this in many of the previous cyclones, or limit the damage. And also to restore the essential services in the shortest possible time.
When Cyclone Taute was developing on 6th of May, we issued the extended range forecast. On 13th of May, low pressure area formed over the Arabian Sea near Lakshadweep area. Our first press release was issued. And we followed up that. On 14th, we issued the pre-cyclone watch. On 15th, we issued the cyclone alert. And on 16th, we issued the cyclone warning. And the Cyclone Taute crossed coast in the 17th night of 2021 May. So by that way, sufficient time was provided to all along the west coast, to all the states and all the stakeholders, especially Gujarat states and Daman and Diu, which are the target of the tropical cyclone, was being provided all this information starting from 6th May, and it continued every 3 hourly, then hourly, to all the disaster managers, media, general public, and the stakeholders in the coast, including online and offshore operations, industries, and many more.
On 11th May 2021, a briefing was given to the Chief Secretary, Government of Gujarat, and also to the higher government officials that a cyclone is very likely to develop over Arabian Sea.
On receipt of cyclone warnings from IMD, Honorable CM of Gujarat reviewed preparedness and all necessary actions were taken to manage the cyclone and minimize loss of lives and property. Though IMD introduced impact-based forecast of cyclone at district level since 1990s, it had its limitations. To overcome this difficulty, IMD introduced dynamic impact-based forecast based on tropical cyclone hazard modeling, vulnerability, impact modeling, and assessment of risks in a GIS platform. This system is developed by National Disaster Management Authority in active collaboration with IMD, INCOIS and other concerned states and central agencies, and is pledged since 2021.
We are not just predicting what will be the wind speed or how high will be the storm surge, we are also predicting what are its likely impacts. The WebDC array brings together information on the hazard, the cyclone that is coming or a flood that is coming, and looks at what is the exposure in terms of what are the settlements, houses, schools, hospitals, bridges, telecom networks, roads that are in the way of the cyclone, an impending cyclone, and look at what is their vulnerability.
This tool has facility to provide the expected damage at village and ward level and the expected loss in terms of quantity and money. The loss forecast generated helps the disaster managers in deciding the risk financing before the cyclone hits the coast. The IMD has come a long way from the 1990s, where the dissemination of cyclonic information was in a nascent stage. Cyclone warning reached users through all possible means, including telephone, fax, email, SMS, global telecom system, WMO information system, All India Radio, FM and community radio, television and other print and electronic media, press briefing and press release, and also social media.
We have now started disseminating it to people actually who will bear the brunt of it through SMS, of course not just the government authorities but the local populace also. Free SMSs are sent out in millions.
We have developed over a period of time this common alerting protocol, which all different agencies come together and then the alerts are sent to the people for affected areas. These have become so accurate that using the mobile service providers, an area where the disaster is likely to happen, alerts can be sent to people who are living in those areas or who are moving in those areas. So that kind of system we have developed over a period of time.
Using this CAP Sojit portal, till date we have sent near about 1900 millions of SMS.
गोटे दिन पूर्व सूचना मिली था जहाँ माध्यम एत टेक्नोलोजी इम्प्लीमेंट हो नथिला तो बहुत लोकर मृत्यु हो जाइथिला।
सरकार को साधुवाद जनबू आउ सेतेबेले जो भयंकर भाव में जो विपत्ति आसिले जो आम असहाय हो जाउथुलु ता प्रति आम सजग हो पारचु।
Thanks to the proactive involvement of three-tier disaster management, agencies at central, state and district levels, based on accurate and timely warnings by IMD, there has been a significant reduction in loss of life, cost of evacuation and loss in the government exchequer towards payment of ex gratia. India's Meteorological Department not only provides cyclone advisory to the country, but to all countries in Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. It acts as a regional specialized meteorological center for tropical cyclones.
We serve for the 13 countries that lies around the North Indian Ocean, mainly for the tropical cyclone genesis, intensity and track forecast.
Cyclone Mocha crossed the Myanmar and southeast Bangladesh coast with wind speed of 180 to 200 kilometers per hour on 14th May afternoon. First information about its genesis was issued on 27th April by IMD. On 4th May, RSMC New Delhi predicted that it would be a cyclonic storm. On 8th May, with formation of low pressure area, IMD predicted landfall over Myanmar, Bangladesh coasts on the 14th of May. Regular advisories were issued to both the countries till the dissipation of cyclone over Myanmar on 15th May. It is evident from the figures that IMD could predict the track, intensity and landfall quite accurately. Especially pinpointed forecast of landfall helped Myanmar and Bangladesh to minimize loss of life.
The ISMC New Delhi Tropical Cyclone Forecast and Advisories, including track, intensity, strong wind and storm surges, are the best in quality and the most authoritative in the region, thus very supportive to countries in the region for their disaster mitigation and preparedness.
Extreme severe cyclone storm Mocha landfall in our country of the 40 May of the about of the 30 p.m. of the Myanmar Standard Time. Before the landfall, We are the using of the RMC and tropical cyclone panel focus is the mainly and another of our satellite and our radar product and our anti product. This time is very useful.
We also get it regularly from the RSNC New Delhi, and we follow your forecast smoothly.
In the past too, IMD has actively assisted its neighbours. The number of fatalities in 13 WMO ESCAP Panel Member countries has significantly reduced compared to the past. IMD's significant improvements in cyclone warning services have garnered global recognition for India. The good work has earned global appreciations like the UN, WMO, ESCAP panel countries and the media, as well as Hon'ble Prime Minister, the President of India, Parliamentary Standing Committee and the Indian Science Congress. Cyclone warning services in India has earned place among 100 innovations that transformed India in post-independence era. Loss of lives has been minimized so far, but loss of property is still a challenge. IMD and the Government of India are actively working to minimize property loss through innovative approaches. These include the introduction of pre-genesis forecasts, 15-day impact-based forecasts for farmers, fishermen and other stakeholders, customized forecasts for coastal cities and ports, industries, oil and offshore explorations, and most importantly, the development of disaster-resilient infrastructure. The Vision 2030 prepared further by Dr. Mrityunjay Mahapatra, the Cyclone Man of India, aims at improving the skill further by 10 to 20% by 2030.
We need to make our infrastructure that will be more disaster resilient, like cyclone resilient or earthquake resistant infrastructure we need to build. And for this purpose, of course, we need to not only have good standards, but also that it has to be properly implemented. And India has taken the initiative to create the CDRI, the Coalition for Disaster Resistant Infrastructure. We are collaborating with many countries. There are about, I think, more than 38 countries have already joined it. So sharing of knowledge, sharing of ideas, best practices, helping some countries in building their capacity. So all these activities, including the early warning system.
The vision and strategy of IMD is to ensure early warning for not only India, but also the region, with the objective of zero casualties and minimum loss of property due to cyclones.